Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel are free and easy for you, and they help me out a lot. If you want to go further with your support, Patreon and YouTube membership offer access to the BoshNRoll Discord community, early access to lists, written content, things like that. You can have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use YouTube membership, you also get sweet badges and emotes integrated here into YouTube. You can support the channel while you shop at tcgplayer.com by using my affiliate link in the video description, and you can play any deck anytime by using a cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. If you want to wear your support, check out the merch store. And of course, thanks for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I am featuring a brew from Patreon subscriber Dragon Day Dragon. This is Legacy Rogues. It turns out, when I was working on this deck, that Rogues is a robust tribe throughout Magic's history. There is the Lorwyn era Rogues, which are into discard and overlap with fairies a lot. And then there's the Zendikar Rising era Rogues that are into flash and mill. Then there are a number of prisony creatures throughout history that are just also rogues randomly. And there's a bunch of other just Magic cards that you're surprised are rogues once you realize it, like Dothy Voidwalker. That one's a rogue. I guess walking around the void is roguish behavior. So there's a lot of ways you could take this deck. Where I ended up landing on it is I wanted to lean into Cunning Nightbonder, which is a pretty sick card. Hybrid blue-black, 2/2 flash, spells with flash, you cast, cost 1 less, and can't be countered. This thing is an engine all by itself. I really like the don't tap out game plan of the flash side of Rogues, which ruled out a lot of the cool Lorwyn era goblins and stuff. But there are plenty of Rogues with flash. That's also why True Name Nemesis is not in this deck. Very famous legacy rogue, but spending 3 mana on my main phase is not something I ever want to do. That's just the direction I went with the deck in this particular iteration of it. Nightbonder, making all your spells uncounterable, invalidates significant swaths of the format. Like anyone with counter spells in their hand, this is kind of, you get that Teferi Time Raveler effect on the game. Obviously not quite as cracked as Teferi, very few cards are, but reducing the cost of these top-end heaters in Opposition Agent and Notion Thief while making them uncounterable can really swing a game. Even within the flash wedge of rogues, if you decide to build that deck, you could fill it with 1 and 2 drops. It could be a Daze deck. There's a lot of ways you could take it, and I decided reducing the cost and making uncounterable the best rogues that there are was where I wanted to be. Back it up with a little bit of pressure from Wasteland and Force of Will, and get over the finish line that way with the big hooks at the end. That's not going to line up with every strategy, but you can't do everything that rogues do in a single legacy deck. So that's where we are. The goal is to apply steady pressure with your rogues and just be just disruptive enough to be annoying. There is a mill plan sort of churning in the background too. Thieves Guild Enforcer, whenever a rogue enters the battlefield, each opponent mills 2. Soaring Thought Thief, whenever you attack with 1 or more rogues, each opponent mills 2. So we are attacking their deck points while we whittle away their life points, and there's multiple things at play here. Notably, as always, when we're brewing in Legacy, milling your opponent enables Uro. I am aware of this. I have sideboard ideas to deal with it. That's where Dothy Voidwalker comes in. There's a Grafdigger's Cage. There's multiple surgical extractions. Like, there's a plan in the sideboard. I'm trying. In the main, we're just going to have to like control it with Notion Thief and Brazen Borrower and tempo through it and hope that works out. And hope we get paired against decks that aren't Uro decks. I'm going to do my best there, but I wasn't about to main deck like 4 Cling to Dust, just out of respect for that. I'm going to respect the deck archetype independent of Uro first. In the sideboard, I have one of the best rogues of all time, Bitter Blossom. Technically a fairy, but it does make fairy rogues. I couldn't find room for it in the main deck with the flash plan, but there are matchups where Bitter Blossom is phenomenal, like any slow control matchup. It's really good against depths because it makes a 1/1 that can eat Merit Lage, get eaten by Merit Lage every turn, basically force field until you can figure out a Brazen Borrower to get rid of the Merit Lage. And a fun of one of card from my youth that I remember fondly, Earwig Squad. 5/3 for 5. You can Prowl it for 2 and a black. Prowl is a mechanic from Morningtide that you may cast this card for its Prowl cost if you dealt damage to a player this turn with a Goblin or Rogue. And when you Prowl this card, you can search target opponent's library for 3 cards and exile them. Then that player shuffles. This is really obnoxious versus combo decks, and I hope we get to do it at least one in the league. But you have a 3-mana 5/3 in your deck that can pull all their combo cards out. Might even bring this in against Uro decks if it comes down to that. Just get rid of the Uros, then we can mill them out. Could be a sweet one. Looking forward to doing Earwig-related business. That's the deck. It should resemble a tempo deck. It's got kind of Delvery vibes, kind of fairy vibes. We're just in a different tribe here. And let's go do rogue stuff. We're on the draw in round one that's a little risky. I do need another land, and I did give this deck a pretty generous land count for its curve. I think I put 21 lands in this pile. Yeah, 21 lands. I'm going to keep this. I think this would be an easy keep if this was an Underground Sea, but being Prismatic Vista is kind of tough on the hand that wants to play Thieves Guild Enforcer and Brainstorm. Oh, extra rough. Here's this jerk. Yeah, it's fine. Immediately put to the test. Okay. I can try to Brainstorm into my land, which is probably what I want to do. Well, I just revealed Days, so I should probably Brainstorm now. That's annoying. I don't want to force this Days, so I'm going to Brainstorm now. Just get got by these main deck Pyroblast Delvers playing these days. And doing this now just tells them loud and clear that I'm in trouble to a Days. Oh, I'm not winning this game if this doesn't work. I probably should have pitched Thought Thief instead of Nightbonder, because Nightbonder is something I really want to stick against Delver. All right, we're in there. Fortunate. Okay. I have lands to play the game on. Carry on, opponent. And they Brainstormed with their floating mana. This did at least make this Brainstorm a little awkward. They're going to have to draw at least one of these cards. I'll take my W's where I can find them. Delver's mashing. I am not going to jam Nightbonder or Thought Thief into the Days that I can see. Oh, okay. They just tapped out of Days. I'm getting Nightbonder in. You do need an island to cast Days. Right, I'm susceptible to Lightning Bolt, but I'm going to take that risk. Damage. Got it. Oh, I've untapped. I can Notion Thief. Okay, I have uncounterable rogues now, so let's see how far we can take this. Lightning Bolt. I'm going to Notion Thief in response. Yeah, dazed it. Get fucked. Put that right in the graveyard. Didn't bother to read my card. Just slam Daze on the stack. We take those. Probably still losing to this Insectile Aberration, but I'm taking that one as a huge win. Oh, Snuff. Okay, I can snuff myself down to 5. Thought Thief. Opponent needs 8 cards in the graveyard for that to be bigger. Alright, I'm going to attack with Notion Thief. Oh, I should have Thought Thiefed first. Whoops. Alright, whatever. Okay, I can decide what I need to do in this combat step. So I can play Thought Thief. I'm playing this one first to play around Days. Like, I'd rather play Thieves Guild Enforcer first, because that actually does mill 2 immediately, and then mills another 2 for the Thought Thief. But I'd rather have the flyer in play if we end up in this situation. And if Enforcer resolves, then Thought Thief is big enough to trade with Delver, and I can save Snuff out for... Okay. They force that, which means they don't have Days. Oh god, if I snuff this Delver, then I die to Murktide Regent. If I don't snuff this Delver, then... Alright. They're 1 card short of this Thought Thief trading with Delver, but if I take the hit from Delver, then I lose to Bolt if I ever snuff out again. Please don't have Murktide. Okay, Lightning Bolt, 1 card left in hand. Sure. Land would be sick. get him with the other Notion Thief. All right, not this time. There's land. I think I want to just set up Force Blue card. Be ready for a Murktide Regent. If I put back... there's no way to hold up Force Blue card and cast Notion Thief next turn. Force Blue card's more important. Okay, I'm going to put Notion Thief and Prismatic Vista on top in that order. And I'll attack. I got a mill for 2. That's feeding Murktide, but they have not indicated they have that card right now. Delver decks also play Mystic Sanctuary, and the mill strat just turns that into Vampiric Tutor. Fetching in the end step. Do we have Brazen Borrower? Are we just clearing lands? That was interesting. Another land. Love to see it. That means the last card in their hand is forcible. Also means they can Mystic Sanctuary, though. This is what we lined this up for. Ooh. That was actually probably pretty bad, because now Mystic Sanctuary getting Lightning Bolt just kills me. So I should not indicate... I shouldn't play my fetch land, because then they'll know for sure they can just pick up this Lightning Bolt with Sanctuary. But I am in danger here. Yep, not even flinching. Please just get Ponder or some shit. Let me get through this. Alright. They did just get Ponder. Deal. Yeah, I drew that Snuff out like a turn too late. If I was at 7 instead of 4 right now, I would feel pretty good. Instead, I feel pretty bad. Shuffle this, Ponder. Do not shuffle the Ponder. Disappointing. Oh god, they found Murktide again. Yep, there it is. Okay, 7/7 creature. I'm gonna have to tempo through this. Like, I'm gonna have to block with Thought Thief, flash in Notion Thief, and like Brazen Borrower maybe? Ah, fuck. Or you could just draw your main deck Pyroblast. That's cool too. Alright, we're dead. That was kind of a fun game. My removal didn't show up the way I needed it to. If they had one more card in their graveyard, this Thought Thief could have traded with Delver, then I would have been able to snuff the Merc. Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually. I believe this is a Voidwalker matchup. They like their graveyard. Flusterstorm matchup. I don't think it's a Bitter Blossom matchup. It might be Plague Engineer. We'll see how many cards I'm cutting. A Fatal Push. Thoughtseize isn't great. I do like knowing what's in their hand, and it can clip a Murktide proactively. Opposition Agent is actually just really bad. They don't do a whole lot of deck searching, just with their fetch lands. And 3/2 without flying is pretty embarrassing in the matchup. I did notice in deck building, which is why Voidwalker isn't in the main, that Voidwalker, both combos and non-bows with Thieves Guild Enforcer, and with Soaring Thought Thief, the Zendikar Rogue mechanic was if your opponent has 8 cards in their graveyard, something happens, and Voidwalker makes it so no cards go to their graveyard. But these cards also put cards into exile with void counters on them, so you can steal cards more aggressively. So your attack force gets worse, but your Voidwalker synergy gets better. It's just a strange thing, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing with all that information. Thieves Guild Enforcer, though, is a non-flying creature for this matchup, which matters a lot. I don't think I want to go down to 0 1-drops, because it is an enabler for other stuff. But Plague Engineer, being able to name human, is pretty good. Alright, I am going all the way off of Thieves Guild Enforcer and into Plague Engineer. And I want my forces in just because I want as many answers to Murktide Regent as possible. This hand's solid. I'm going to keep it. It's removal into Hateful Sideboard card with an answer to Murktide Regent at the ready. Leading on Vista, I can Fatal Push their 1-drop. Like, I have the opportunity here to be really bullish on Dauthi Voidwalker. Like, if they play a 1-drop and I push it and they daze my push, then they can't daze Voidwalker. And if they just don't have daze, then both my things happen. Or I could take my time and just play around daze the whole time. I think I'm going to be a little pushy here. You get to bobble me. I'm going to push before they draw the card for bobble, obviously, because that's why I did this. Oh, wow. They just F6'd right through that. Moto didn't even flinch when that Delver went into the graveyard. Yeah, that came straight into play too. The way burn works against Voidwalker is that burn spells do get exiled. Straight up destroy spells don't, but burn spells do. If you try to remove Voidwalker, just with the way the magic rules work. And the reason for that is burn doesn't kill creatures. State-based actions kill creatures that have lethal damage on them. And state-based actions aren't checked and still spells resolve. So Lightning Bolt would mark 3 damage on Voidwalker, resolve to the graveyard, get exiled, and then the game would say, oh, this Voidwalker has 3 damage, kill it. A card like Abrupt Decay says destroys target creature on the printed text, so the creature goes into the graveyard before Abrupt Decay does. I'm just going to play Vista and attack with my dude. There is a Brainstorm in exile that I could cast, but I think attacking for 3 and having Voidwalker in play is worth more than that right now. Now I can settle into this tempo game with Brazen Borrower and Force of Will. I can Brainstorm to find something if I want it. Aggressive Iteration. Yeah, I'm not going to Force of Will that. Might cast one of my own next turn, though. Oh, they found a Lightning Bolt. I could Brainstorm in response to that, or just deploy Brazen Borrower and continue attacking. I think I want to Brainstorm here. Good Brainstorm. Okay. I believe I'm losing my Voidwalker here, but it has exiled 6 cards? 5 cards? Could force this. I don't think that's right, though. It nipped 5 cards off of Murktide Development and DRC Development. Not bad, though my opponent does still have 6 cards in their hand. Let's ponder into another Voidwalker. Keep that going. Night Bonder. Is it time to bond the night? I think it is. I'll put Force of Will under that. I probably don't want Force of Will. So use my fetch land here. And I want to cast Bonder in the end step. I could resolve it now. Lightning Bolt answers it cleanly either way. And now they cast Expressive Iteration without the knowledge that Cunning Night Bonder is around. Found a DRC. Who is not delirious currently, thanks to Voidwalker. Pretty close. Just needs an instant, which is, I believe, the most plentiful card type in their deck. Wasteland, bummer. Oh, Wasteland, yeah, that also gets them delirious. They're set up over there. Night Bonder. All right, then Wasteland happens. And I'm going to fetch another Underground Sea. Already exposed. Lean in. That's not Notion Thief. The DRC has to fight. Oh, I can try to dance around that for a little bit. If they Murktide, it loses. Delirium. Petty Theft, unfortunately, is an actual instant. It's not a card with flash. Brazen Borrower is an uncounterable card with flash, but Petty Theft is just an instant. And instants don't have flash. They just have the similar rules text. Wasteland. I will float blue here. Wasteland happens. I'm going to try to bounce this, because I can cast Brazen Borrower immediately for blue-blue uncounterably. Alright, that didn't work. Hey viewer, did you know that Delver is a really good, efficient, murderous deck full of removal and above-rate threats? Speaking of murder, get that out of here. 5 cards in their hand. Could easily have a counterspell for this. I'm going to play out my 3rd land, represent the uncounterable Notion Thief. Wish I actually had it. Alright, yeah, Lightning Bolt, you got me. Okay, I'm worried. They have 5 cards in their hand. Am I 1? Alright, I can cast Force of Will now. They're probably going to Mystic Sanctuary Expressive Iteration here. Continue the burying. Yep. There's that iteration. And now every daze they cast picks up Mystic Sanctuary, which can rebuy the Expressive Iteration. Alright, they exiled a Murktide. Bone of Truth, if they have daze. They do still have their land drop for the turn. They have 5 cards in hand. We're in the danger zone. Here's my Force of Will. I'm going to try. Yeah, daze picking up Mystic Sanctuary. I'm going to take one more draw step, then I'll concede. This game is over. And this triggers Murktide to make it bigger because a card leaves the graveyard. Disgusting. Snuff out. Oh, look who's here. A little too late. We had a pretty good start this game, but then their removal did what it was supposed to do, and we hit a little run there where drew too many lands. I think if we had drawn 1 or 2 more creatures instead of lands number 6 and 7, this game might have been interesting. But they do still have 4 cards over there in their hand. Don't have a whole lot of hope left here. Being a blue creature deck against the deck with 4 lightning bolts and 4 or more pyroblasts is a tough position to be in. At least this expressive iteration is gone. They found a wasteland, used it immediately. Delver. Alright, I mean, I can cast expressive iteration this turn off of my Voidwalker. Oh. Challenging position to be in. If I alt cast this, I go to 2, dead to lightning bolt. If I hard cast this, it gets dazed. I could cast expressive iteration first, see where this goes. Yeah, I think I want to do that. Yeah, I'm going to get iteration and cast that. I could have snuffed the Plague Engineer and snuffed the Murktide and tried to cast that, but then I'm still at 2. Another snuff out. That's not good. Notion Thief is fine. Oh, whoops. Just resolving this like Ponder. Okay. I want Notion Thief in my hand. Snuff out on the bottom. And Plague Engineer in exile. Let's cast this dude. Dazing it. Do you have double daze or what? I will pay the 1. I'm gonna name human. And I'm gonna snuff out Murktide Regent, go to 2. They just picked up their Mystic Sanctuary. There's no Lightning Bolt currently in the graveyard. Okay. Yeah, we were dead anyway. Alright. Got smushed by Delver. There's no shame in that. On to the next one. I'm on the draw in round 2. Playing against Catelyn Stark. Sorry about the Red Wedding. That was harsh. I'm going to keep this hand. Opponent's on 6. Oh, sick. We get to line the whole shit up here. Just Thoughtseize into Night Bonder into Oppo Agent. And I can play around Wasteland, so I will. There's not a lot of decks with Snow Island and Wasteland in them. But I'm going to give it the respect it deserves. What are we doing over here? Brainstorm and response, hide the good cards. Alright, it's show and tell. Got some science. I believe I want to take Brainstorm. I could take Omniscience and just... You got nothing. I could take Force to protect my Force if they hid show and tell, but I don't want to give them infinite time to just sculpt this hand back together. This is kind of tricky. I'm actually going to take their Force. Because Omniscience doesn't do anything without show and tell doesn't do anything if I force it. That's how I'm thinking about this structure. Another one. Okay. This slows down my Night Bonder situation, but I might not need Night Bonder if I can make sure my agent just resolves. Okay. What did you hide from me? Brainstorm again. You can hide the cards again, but that's okay. If you're using Brainstorm to hide cards, then it's not shuffling away bad cards. Really hope I can Oppo Agent an Intuition in the near future. Alright, we got Sneak Attack and Omniscience. I think I want to take Ponder. Yeah, now I'm just going for the more mana efficient way to find better cards. They found another Omniscience. Or no, that's the same one. I didn't take the first one. Yeah, Omniscience, they picked up a Sneak Attack. Ooh. Oh my god. They didn't crack their fetch land. It's my time to shine. Oppo Agent, let's go. Impulse in my end step. Impulse in my end step. Oh, they didn't fall for it. I'm gonna Bond the Knight in the end step. If they fetch in response, that's smart. Depends on if they know Opposition Agent is a rogue or not, I guess. Alright, they got their fetch land through the agent. And impulsed in response. Yeah, that's fine. I think I want to Brainstorm in the end step just for forward momentum. If they daze it, it's fine. They've missed a bunch of land drops already. Wasteland is not helpful right now. Could be later. Now I'm pressuring. I have a counterspell up. I have Opposition Agent that can just go ham. Play a fetch land. Not a fetch land. Okay, so we have Show and Tell. I have Force. Omniscient, Sneak Attack are 2 of the 4 cards in hand. Alright. I'm gonna drop the Opposition Agent. Wasteland's on top of my deck. It's gonna be great. They've been struggling on mana the whole game. I'm going to use my brainstorm here, try to keep pushing. If I can find, like, Notion Thief, that would be sick. Oh, that's also pretty sick. I would rather Wasteland this turn than hold up Force of Will, I think. It's close. It's actually really close. I'm going to Wasteland, though. They would need exactly Ancient Tomb to get the sneak attack into play. Fetch lands don't work anymore. Cool. We're in there. Holding up Force. Crunching for 5 a turn. They can't even use Ancient Tomb now because it puts them to 5, which is how much attack power I have. Hard cast a Force if I want to. 2. I could still lose this if their hand is Show and Tell, Force of Will, blue card, the Omniscience, and something. So that's Show and Tell's 1, Force blue card is 3, Omniscience is 4, Sneak Attack's 5. Yeah, if their last card in hand that I don't know about is a payoff for Omniscience, then they could still win this game. Not what happened, though. That's more like it. Just mild disruption, some flash threats, get the game over in a tempo fashion. My previous opponent didn't let me do that, but welcome to Delver. Earwig Squad, this is the time. Dauthi Voidwalker's a strong maybe, because if I can, like, Thoughtseize and Emrakul with Voidwalker in play, then I just get Emrakul. Flusterstorm definitely coming in. Grafdigger's Cage does not help in this particular matchup. Surgical Extraction is always like one of those cards that if you're a discard deck, or even if you're not, like if you're any sort of interactive deck, it's always in the maybe pile against Show and Tell. Because it doesn't help you stop the first Show and Tell, but if you do stop the first Show and Tell, you can get all of them out of the deck. Really nice. All my spot removals coming out. Snuff Out is non-black creature, and Emrakul can't be targeted by it. Fatal Push doesn't hit Grizzlebrand or Emrakul. I have 3 more cuts I want to make. Brazen Borrower I do like, still a flash threat. Thieves Guild Enforcer does apply pressure. Emrakul's in their deck, so it's a lot harder to turn this thing on, and 1/1 flash isn't very exciting, but these are 1/1s that chuck cards in the graveyard, albeit briefly, in order to surgical them. They're also rogues that turn on Earwig Squad. Ooh. It's getting tempting. Do I need all 21 lands in the deck here? Probably. All right, I'm going to go down 1 Surgical Extraction, and got to cut 1 more card here. They're all so good. It's not fair. Okay, I still have plenty of 2-drops that can curve into Earwig Squad. I'm doing this. Let's go. This is a pretty big slight against Thieves Guild Enforcer because this is exactly the type of matchup where this card would shine. I think Emrakul being just omnipresent graveyard recycling is breaking it for me. If that actually had a chance of being a 3/2 at any point, I think I'd like it. I'm keeping this hand with 2 Thoughtseizes. That should give me time to figure it out. At least I hope. Famous last words. Another Swamp, not exactly what I'm looking for. I can Thoughtseize now, make sure I don't die on turn 2, and then be judicious about the other one. Hermit's pretty sick. Well, they did have a turn 2 Show and Tell. They can use Hermit next turn to keep my Thoughtseize. Like, stop my Thoughtseize. We're going to take Show and Tell, but that Hermit is a really good one. Sick technology that all of my removals out of the deck for. Went with Ponder instead of Hermit. I like that. Okay, deck, it's time. I need a spell. Did not shuffle the Ponder, played the Scalding Tarn, did not play the Lotus Petal. Ugh. Tough beats there. I'm going to play Polluted Delta and cast Thoughtseize again. Because with Lotus Petal, if they have a land, they can get the sneak attack in this turn. I'm going to take the sneak attack. I don't like that Grizzlebrand being over there, but at least sneak attack they could cast right now. I'm hoping that they take the time to develop Malevolent Hermit. If they do top deck Show and Tell and just slam it, then I'm going to lose. But why would you do that if you put this Hermit in your deck to try to fight that fight with? So Hermit's getting out of range. I'm going to have 3 mana next turn, so I can still force and pay the Hermit tax. Went with Ponder. This is exactly the type of board state where show and tell is actually good. Or, I mean, surgical is actually good on the show and tell. Oh, God. Okay, just Hermit. Right, with one extra card in hand. Okay, I am going to fetch Underground Sea in the end step. I will take any tiny % of deck thinning right now. I have other fetch lands if I draw a Brainstorm. And I would need to fetch to get blue mana anyway. Night Bonder, that's cool. Alright, I'm going to Cavern on Rogue. I want them very worried about what might come out of here. Not that they really need to be. And Nightbonder is a blue card. I can force something, and I have 3 mana to pay for a Hermit. That was timely. Force that. They have 1 card in hand. If it's Pyroblast, they win. Or Flusterstorm, or like any additional piece of interaction. But Hermit alone doesn't do it. They could sack the Hermit anyway, make me tap out, and then redeploy the Benevolent Geist, which is more powerful on this board state, unless they want to get in with 2-1 beatdown. Yeah, respected the Flash Rogues. Now, can I actually have one? Oh, God. This is going poorly. They've seen Opposition Agent. They haven't seen Notion Thief. Oh, my God. I would love to Notion Thief a Grizzlebrand. Brainstorm. That's such a good card. Why can't I draw those? Okay, 1 mystery card in hand. Are you done being scared? Nope. Still scared. Love it. How about Notion Thief or Brainstorm? God damn it. This has been rough. I mentioned I have a slightly higher land count than normal for a tempo deck, but my deck is full of 3 and 4 drops, but I don't think the 2 extra lands represent these how often I've flooded out so far. All right, no plays again from anyone. All right, that's a card. I'm going to play Island rather than Cavern. I don't really need 2 Caverns, I don't think. I can at least start pressuring them starting this turn. It does shuffle all their shit back into their deck if I hit an Emrakul. But I can eat Hermit for free if they decide it's time to attack. Absolutely free lunch. 1/3 creature versus 2/1 creature. Okay, adding to the board now. Soaring Thought Thief. This could mill a Hermit for them. Could do a lot of things, but at least I'm pushing for damage now. Oh, do you have... Oh, Pyroblast, sure. Fair enough. Yeah, can't Pyroblast this one. Voidwalker. The stakes just got higher. Anything that they miss on now could kill them. Like, if I draw a mill spell now, I could just have Emrakul next turn. If I draw Thoughtseize, I can have Grizzlebrand next turn. We're in business. Come on, deck. Help me out here. Okay, it's time to attack. I think this thing could have done like 8 by now, but they were probably right to be careful with it. All right, come on, deck. Don't Pyroblast me. Oh my God, it's Thoughtseize. Well, folks, I'll take a Grizzlebrand. Yoink. And can cast the Grizzle. Just like that. And 7/7 lifelink. Good times. And they are functionally hellbent. They have 2 lands in their hand. Yeah, scooped it up. Fuck yeah. Thothy Voidwalker carrying the day. Rogues on the board. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the draw in round 3. Another 1-lander with Prismatic Vista. I think the mana base in this deck needs work. For being a 2-color deck, it actually has terrible mana. I am going to keep this, though. Like, I wonder if this is just supposed to be like a 1 swamp, 1 island, 2 watery grave, and like fetch lands that can get Underground Sea rather than Prismatic Vista. Got a Scalding Tarn from the opponent. Volcanic Island Ponder. Are we in hard mode again? I hope to draw a swamp island or thing that can get swamp or island. I would not complain about a Cavern of Souls either. I guess any land, even Wasteland, I would just cack off here and hope it's good. They chose to shuffle. Land, please. Okay, easy money. We're doing it. I'm gonna flash in Thieves Guild Enforcer this turn, and then untap, and I can hold up Nightbonder or Thought Thief, depending on where I want to go with it. See if they actually are Delver, or if they're sculpting some Storm hand. Storm probably would have led on Underground Sea, though. Could be Show and Tell again. Nope. You know, it's a lot of fun playing a mill deck versus a deck that uses its graveyard as a resource. That might be lights out for the rogue strategy in Legacy. I responded to DRC with Thieves Guild Enforcer because if they dazed it, I didn't want them to also get a Surveil. Just a little sequencing thing there. Ooh. Thoughtseize might change like, I gotta know if there's a Murktide over there and deal with it immediately. There is. Oh god, this fucking Wasteland. Of course there's a Wasteland. Alright, so they have the two best cards in their deck, in their hand. And Wasteland, which can... Like, there's a world where I could take EI, let them Murktide, bounce it with Brazen Borrower. But that world is messed up by Wasteland. I can't really let them EI. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to brainstorm and hope that it finds a blue source. And we're dead. God fucking damn it. Alright, so flood out twice, and then mana screwed. Got it. Got it, deck. It's one of those days, huh? Alright. I took a big swing and was punished. I don't think I can attack here. No. Because they just don't block, and then my life is more important than their life. If they cast the Murktide, I'm conceding. This doesn't get flying, does it? No, just Death Touch. What? Oh, okay. I get it. That's what they're doing. They're offering this trade, and then they will remove the 8 cards from their graveyard, and that will kill my thing. Yeah, makes sense. But I'm happy to take that trade anyway. This doesn't have flying or reach. Yep. Dead to the Murkfather. So I draw this card, I take 7. I draw the next card, I take 7. Yeah, we're dead. I think I played that correctly. It just didn't pan out. There's a lot of lands, and I had the Brainstorm to hit here. Just any blue source, and we're stable. I don't know. Masters of Magic Theory in the comments, let me know. Like, do you take the imminent threat that you are pretty likely to be able to answer, but not totally sure? Or do you take the card that you're certainly to lose a long game against? Tricky stuff. Magic's a hard game. The Voidwalkers and the Flusterstorms, I like. I think I backed off of Thoughtseize last time, and I still agree with that. Opposition Agent, not mega important here. Notion Thief, very important. Brazen Borrower, very important. Snuff Out, very important. They're going to have their Pyroblast, which makes Force of Will worse. Oh, right. I brought in Plague Engineers last time, too. I do want those. I could Earwig Squad and try to connect and take all their Murktides. I don't think that's a good idea, though. I do like a small number of Thoughtseizes. Thieves Guild Enforcer, once again, getting cut. That is the weakest link in this deck, for sure. Alright, I'll cut the last remaining Thieves Guild Enforcer and bring an Opposition Agent back in. If I can cut off their late-game Mystic Sanctuary engine with Oppo Agent, that's something worth considering. And I am going to have to win this game somehow. I can't just fart around forever. So another attacker. Okay, this is about as good as it gets. Ponder. Ooh, tricky. Yeah, I'll take these. If I just get Wastelanded here, that's going to slow me down for a while. If I don't, the Cavern's going to be great. Alright, that's not a Wasteland. Hook it to my veins. And that's not a threat. Hook that to my veins too. Let's go. They did not shuffle their library. And I could be the Wasteland deck, but I don't think that's where I want to be. Not yet, anyway. I want to be on board first. Cavern on Rogue. This will get my Nightbonder in, which will then get everything else. Nightbonder doubles as Cavern of Souls in the deck. Channeler, okay. I don't really want to snuff out this Channeler. Alright, I don't have to. I'm gonna Night Bond. Night Bond. Yeah, they can Lightning Bolt this, get a trigger off of DRC. They can also let this resolve and then pyroblast it, or they could let me untap and do whatever I want. Okay, Plague Engineer is not a rogue, nor does it have flash, but it does mess with this DRC, but so does Fatal Push. This is a really tough decision. I'm gonna Wasteland the Volcanic Island and see what we're doing here. Brainstorming in response. All right, do I want to Fatal Push now? Do I want to Thought Thief? All right, I'm gonna let them brainstorm. And I'm not gonna Thought Thief pre-combat because that gives them the possibility that their DRC becomes a 3/3 and just eats my Night Bonder. This is just good deck building. Good metagame consideration here. The two most important decks in the format, which are Delver and Uro Piles, both love their graveyard. I've just played fairies enough times and enough flavors on the channel that I wanted to give specifically rogues like its own feel, but it for sure doesn't line up well. Ooh. Well, I will try to eat my free lunch here. Block your 1/1 with my 1/3. How'd we do? Brainstorm. They're going to try to YOLO a 4th card type into the graveyard, and they got there. Shit. That was fortunate for them. But it did get rid of a Murktide Regent. Like, in its own weird way, I just killed a Murktide Regent. 1 down. I can also snuff out this DRC. But no, I'm saving that for Murktide Regent. That's what this Fatal Push is in the deck for. Shit. Well, now I can't snuff out or Fatal Push. I'm still going to save it for Murktide Regent. There's other swamps in the deck. Like that one. Told you. Worst pitching days. Okay. Alright, so they want to race. Let's see if my patience paid off. If they just slam Murktide right now, I'm going to be really glad that I saved this snuff out. Delver I'm less excited about. A land goes a long way here. Chain Lightning, my Bonder. Okay. Yeah, that's gone. Okay, deck. Land. Any land will do. Bummer. Alright. I played around the big one, and I'm going to lose to the little ones, such as the Delver way. Delver flipped Revealing Force of Will immediately. I guess I should snuff out one of these while I still can. And this is where they follow up with the Murktide. I do have Force. I can do that at least. Iteration, ugh. I think I would have flustered that if I could, but I'm not going to force it. Get their land drop off of the EI. And another channeler. Oh no. Okay. I can make them smaller. This feels bad. Well, too little, too late by a lot here. Both of these are humans, though. They gain 2 life every turn Engineer's in play. And if they ever lose Delirium, ERC dies. Also Lightning Bolt. Okay, I'm not winning this one. We are very dead. I don't really have a comeback mechanic. I need to play from ahead, and Delver is just better at doing that than my deck is. GG's. Next round. I'm on the play with a hand that I'm normally in love with, and I'm not going to mulligan, but this is not really the play pattern of this particular deck. The 4 lands, 3 ponders, or 3 cantrips. I'm going to need to pick up a threat pretty quick here. Let's just ponder into like Night Bonder, Oppo Agent, and other thing. I'm going to shuffle this. I have enough of all this stuff already. All right, found something. Something different. Come on now. Come on. I know it's the best deck, but we're in leagues. What are you all practicing for? Yeah, this is just the variance of recording your leagues on Magic Online. You don't get to pick what you play against, and sometimes I don't see Delver for like a week, and sometimes you get paired against it 3 times in one league. What did they see? They saw Basic Swamp. All right, I'm going to ponder first. Notion Thief Wasteland. I think I have to shuffle this. The second Wasteland's kind of exciting. There might be a world where I can screw them off being able to play the game at all. All right. I am not going to shuffle, and I'm going to Wasteland. If their hand just has 3 lands in it, I'm SOL, but I'm trying to set up a world where I can Wasteland them twice. They miss their land drop, Brazen Borrower, and then I'm stable. That's the dream anyway. Yeah, the professional second main land drop. They let me believe. They teased me. Broke my heart. All right, moment of truth. They had a second 1-drop, which makes this plan more dangerous anyway. But it is the only one I have. All right, just 3 lands. Okay. And Ponder is the 4th card type all on its own, regardless of what these surveils pick up. Stifle, that's good to know. And they bottomed a lightning bolt, or binned a lightning bolt. I have to brainstorm here, and I have to do it into days because I need to find a fetch land to fix this hand. Oh god. Now it's too late. Like, there's the 3rd wasteland. Maybe this is good enough, but yeah, this game is not winnable. All right, we're out. At this point, I would take an Uro matchup. Let me run my mill deck against Uro rather than see Delver another time. I think this deck could be built in a way that lines up better against Delver. I don't think Bitter Blossom's where I want to be. Just my life total is so precious. The Plague Engineers might be medium, but I still think they're the best chance I have. Or I could ignore Plague Engineer and just have all 4 Thoughtseizes in. That does at least let me map out a game plan. Or I could do 3 Thoughtseize and just have Dauthi Voidwalker in here. And both opposition agents this time. Okay, I'm going in. On the play here, I like this one. I get to play on basics. I have threats. I have Notion Thief, which is probably the most important card to this matchup. Like, I would say probably Night Bonder is the most important, but it's the most important because it facilitates Notion Thief. Time to rally. 3rd time's the charm. Let's take out Delver. Okay, I don't need this 4th land. I will take Ponder and Oppo Agent, though. I should have stacked them the other way, though. Because now if they bobble me, they're going to see Opposition Agent, know it's coming. If they see Ponder, then that doesn't really do anything. Please don't punish me for that. I don't ask for much. Okay, Ponder. They did not shuffle the Ponder. They didn't get bobbled. It's a Christmas miracle. And we have seen Stifle, so I'm going to fetch now. There's a fetch land crushingly the turn before I can agent it. Okay, I will respond to DRC here. Just in case this gets dazed, it's 1 less surveil. If they have Lightning Bolt or Pyroblast, it's all the same, and they get their surveil however they want. But if they want to counter this, I got that small sequence advantage. My opponent reading this card like, yeah, go ahead, attack me. Mill me into a blocker, you idiot. But they did have Bobble, they were just saving it for their double DRC turn. Makes sense. Just throwing lightning bolts in the graveyard, they're like, yeah, I don't care about this creature. And they can get Delirium at will with this Bobble. Ooh. Do like that. I'm gonna just try to get this down. Alright, they figured out how to bobble me in response. Disappointing. Then Ponder. Night Bonder, Ponder. Night Bonder, Ponder. Night Ponder. And Thought Thief. Somehow these are all terrible. Oh, it's because they're not removal spells and I'm playing against Delver. That was the answer to that. Somehow. I'm not going to attack. I could kamikaze my Thought Thief into these DRCs and hope to mill something that answers them off Voidwalker next turn, but Christ, that sounds awful. These have to fight, which means that my Thought Thief can attack for real next turn. 6 cards in hand. Anything they surveil here, plus the Brainstorm itself, will end up in the exile zone. Lightning Bolt targeting Voidwalker. Surveilled a Stifle away. Surveilled a Wasteland away. I think I really want this Voidwalker around. If I force pitching Notion Thief, can I ever win this game? Yeah, I think I need Brainstorm more than I need Notion Thief. And if this Lightning Bolt gets countered, I can cast it off Voidwalker next turn. Daze. Yep, that's a card you can have. Not surveilling anymore. Can't pay for this. My Voidwalker dies. Well, Opposition Agent is up. That's a snuff out. So if I snuff, I go to 6. I think I need Brainstorm to deliver a land here. Or a removal spell. If I find a Fatal Push here, we might be in business. Shit. They knew to fetch in response. Probably just any target for Pyroblast at this point. Okay, I guess I have to snuff out one of these, chump block the other, and hope to draw Fatal Push, because I can't go to 3 against the Lightning Bolt deck. I will concede to Murktide, just straight up. The game is over. This is just like horrendous. Like if you built a deck on purpose to lose to Delver, this is what it would look like. Like my creatures all die to all of their removal, including the sideboard Pyroblast, and I'm facilitating their incidental graveyard synergies with Murktide and Dragon's Rage Channeler. And my cards cost on average a mana more than theirs do. It's just disgusting. Have to block. And Delver. That probably kills me anyway. And we're dead. Oof. Let's play against something that's not Delver in the final round, please. On to the last one. I am on the play against Yorion in the final round. We know it's not Delver. I guess it could be, but probably not. And time for the mill deck to shine. I'm going to keep this interactive hand. Turn 1 Thoughtseize. I have a hard time putting that away. And Brazen Borrow is both a temporary answer and a threat. Let's see what's going on over there. It is the Death and Taxes, which is the most common thing. They have Iganjo and Plow over here. I think I'm going to take Recruiter and just get to work on their long plan. My deck is mostly creatures, so Thalia is less brutal than she is against most decks I play. There's a Plains. Brainstorm. Okay. Thalia just got better. I'm going to play the Underground Sea because I'm going to need blue next turn to brainstorm with, and if they wasteland me this turn, then they don't cast Thalia. Yeah, I'm not going to force a Willis. A creature? Nope. They can recruit the guard next turn if they want to. Just going to brainstorm now. All right, Night Bonder's dope. Don't need Underground Sea and Pollute. Her Cavernous Soul is actually really bad here. They don't have counter spells. All right, I'm in. They can recruit the guard this turn, and I can decide if I want to Force of Will it. Drew a non-Iganjo land here. I think I have to Force of Will Recruiter. Yeah, there's just no world where I'm winning a game where they start chaining that stuff. I'm going to force pitching Night Bonder because they don't play counter spells. I don't need to do that. The cost reduction is cool, but not enough. Snuff Out. Cool. I like those. I'm not going to snuff out Thalia, just straight up. I think I'm going to Petty Theft Thalia in the end step. Like, I'll take the 2 and then Petty Theft her. Yeah, that's why we don't just snuff out Thalia, because there are better creatures to be worried about. Are they taking the home run swing, or are they playing tight? Like, they're 1 land away from Batterskull, but Kaldra goes coast to coast. They could just get Jute and try to go wide on me. Lion Sash, okay. They went small ball. I hate it. I feel like I have to read that as they already have a different equipment in hand. Lion Sash isn't actually good. I mean, it will be very big very quickly. And I do have to kill it here. Damn it, maybe it is good. And I'm just going to have to take the bet that Kaldra is not in the hand. There's 2 mystery cards in their hand right now. There's Plow, Thalia, and 2 cards I don't know about. They just activate Stoneforge, but Thalia or Kaldra in, then you got me. I'd like to point out that we've not done like the rogue thing once, like the standard deck thing where you have like 1 drop, 2 drop, and then just hold up counter spells after that. Maybe the deck is built poorly to do that. Maybe removal and interaction is just better in Legacy, which is true. Like, that's not a maybe, that's just a fact. But we have not even like come close to doing the thing yet. Ooh, leaving back Stoneforge. I guess they've seen Cunning Night Bonder and flash creatures that can eat a 1/2 pretty easily. They have the Plow over there. What are they worried about? Spirit of the Lab's annoying. They can't plow this due to their own Thalia, so I'll get Brazen Borrower in right now. Ponder, fuck my life. So I can spend 3 mana to bounce Spirit of the Labyrinth, then 2 mana to Ponder, and that somehow, like, I actually just have to do all of those things. Bummer. Ponder, what do you got for me? Fatal Push and Soaring Thought Thief are not a bad 2 cards to come off of this Ponder. Attack for 3. Alright, it was not a flawless victory. We put some damage on the opponent before he died. Count it. In for 3. I'm going down to 5. The Spirit can redeploy here. They still don't have a land. So they're kind of stuck under their own Thalia here, but that also means this hand has 5 spells in it. Attack for 3. My plan is to Fatal Push Spirit and flash in Thought Thief. Tangle with Thalia. They'll have to plow Thought Thief. I guess I should have raided Thought Thief pre-combat, milled 2. But if they spend mana pre-combat, maybe they can't plow. Fatal Push, go after the Spirit. Do I want to just run Thought Thief into Swords to Plowshares? I guess it's fine. I'm drawing Cavern of Souls. Yeah, I think I'm just dead here. Figure they plow, I go to 6, I take 3. Then I can't block next turn. I think I have to, like, trick them in doing something wrong. Maybe I should have played the Brazen Borrower pre-combat if they thought that it could block. I don't know. Yeah, if I just ram into the swords, I lose. Let's hope they panic and plow one of these. So there's no reason to do that at all. Alright, please panic. Plow one of them. Plow one. Tap mana. Tap mana! Nope. Couldn't get it. When D&T players play correctly, it's really hard to win with decks like this. When they know what's actually going on and what's important. I could just not even show them the Thought Thief. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I couldn't get... I guess if I had... No, if I Thought Thief pre-combat... Yeah, I think I just don't even want to show them this card. Just don't want them knowing what flashcards I have. Okay, Plague Engineers are coming in. And is that it? Do I want Voidwalkers and just try to race? But no. The answer is that is no. I'm just thinking out loud. Energy Flux could be annoying. They are a Saga deck. And a Vial deck and an Equipment deck. Energy Flux is not really good against Death and Taxes. Make no mistakes. But it's not nothing. What in my deck is actually nothing? Opposition Agent's great. Notion Thief is actually nothing. That's just a 4-mana 3/1 flash. Death and Taxes literally doesn't draw cards. Their card advantage is all in tutoring and ETB triggers and Urza Sagas and stuff. So, yeah, Notion Thief, literally nothing. I could shave a Thoughtseize. I do kind of like Thoughtseize in blue-black versus decks like this, like clipping the Cauldra, knowing what you need to plan around. All of that is interesting to me. I think Force of Will is probably better. Like if I had to go 4-3 in one direction or another, the squad doesn't trample or anything. It's just a 5-3, just a big O. And they have a lot of 3/1s in their deck. Why can't it be a 4-4? If this was a 4-4, I would bring it in. I think I actually might need Voidwalkers, though that completely turns off the... Alright. I'm going to, for the first time, leave Thieves Guild Enforcer in the deck, because this is, for the first time, a matchup where a 3-2 on the ground is relevant, and the opponent doesn't use their graveyard as a resource. Let's do it. Okay. Okay. This is a hand we can play with. 2 basic lands, 2 removal spells, 1 drop. Sign me up. And I'm going to go with Prismatic Vista first. I can play around Wasteland, so I will. You know the rules. Oh, there. Okay. I'm going to Enforcer here. I can Fatal Push on my turn. It's not a big deal. Milled 2 planes. I could also Snuff out and just keep developing. I'm probably going to do that, actually. Cavern on Rogue. If something gets wastelanded, I guess I prefer its Cavern. Rogue. Alright, now we're doing the standard deck thing. Mill you for 2. I'll give you a chance to trade with Thieves Guild Enforcer before I use my Snuff out. Didn't fall for it. Alright. Snuff the Mother now before I can't snuff anything for the rest of the game. And they have 7 cards in their graveyard already. My rogues are roguing. I can Fatal Push a Thalia or a Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, you better tutor up your equipments before I mill them. Enforcer will be a 3/2 when it attacks, or by the time it does damage this turn. Nice. Big fan of Brazen Borrower. Or 4-2. This thing's even bigger than I thought it was. I've been saying 3-2 this whole time. And I'm going to Fatal Push the Stoneforge Mystic. Rogue thing. Rogue thing. We're doing the rogue thing that I just said we haven't done yet. Yeah, Thieves Guild Enforcer, when it actually functions, is very exciting. This card hits really hard. We just attacked for 6 on turn 3. Skyclave Apparition. All right. Which one are you worried about? Okay, the little guy. Right, I'm not going to bounce Apparition and give them another reuse of it. Ooh, that's good. Attack with Thought Thief, mill you for 2. Got a Recruiter and a Plow out of here. I think I'm just going to drop Brazen Borrower and attack more this turn. If I Plague Engineer, it doesn't kill anything on board. And it lets them know that they can't deploy their humans and stuff. Like, I could just jam this 3-1 or 4-1 flyer and attack. Got to get the game over. Recruiter of the Guard. Okay, that's a human that Plague Engineer can eat. Are you getting Solitude? Are we there? Maybe get Mother of Runes? Nope, Solitude. That was always going to happen. Never any other world. Yeah! We did it, Jeffrey. Alright, I'm going to cast Brazen Borrower, the creature. Full creature mode. You can Solitude one of these if you like. This game is slipping away. They have Solitude to stabilize, but it'll cost you 2 cards if you do it. The mill happened. Build another Solitude. This Plague Engineer is going to be a heater, which is good because it has to be, or else I lose. Solitude pitching Recruiter. Yeah, 3 for 1. Getting rid of the... Okay. They took the bigger creature on stats rather than the trickier creature. I like that. Cavern or Engineer on human wipes out 2 of their things. Their hand is Batterskull and a mystery card. I'm going to hold back this blue to Delta. I don't need to let them know that I'm hellbent. Also, Brainstorm's in my deck. Yeah, turn 5 Aether Vial. You love to see it. Not attack with Skyclave Apparition. Makes sense. Ugh. Do I want to trade with Apparition or leave up my Cavern? Or leave up my Engineer? I think I want to offer the trade because they have a lot of flicker effects in the deck, and I don't want Flicker Wisp to suddenly stabilize this board. I do get something out of it. Batterskull's over there. I'm a little worried about it. I do have Brazen Borrowers in the deck, but if they find land number 5, this thing's in play. Oh god, there it is. Yeah, there's Batterskull. Alright, deck. Brazen Borrower, Fatal Push. Help me out. Brainstorm, okay. Sandbag that land. Looking smart. Plague Engineer and Wasteland. Alright, I can put back these 2. Fetch them away. Another Underground Sea. Wasteland your Rishadan Port. And Plague Engineer on Elemental. That gets Flicker Wisp, which is a card I'm worried about. And mostly I'm just interested in Death Touch to trade off with the Germ token right now. But I'm all in. The Vial's ticking up. They have 2 cards in hand now. Yorion is still in the command zone. Thalia. Okay. I did not name human. I got clever. But it's okay. This was just going to trade off anyway. And then they could have Thalia'd post-combat. Also could have Vialed in Thalia. And the fact that they didn't is really interesting. They must have another 2-drop. That's what that means. So I got to be cognizant of Spirit of the Labyrinth, Stoneforge Mystic. Alright, don't get the luxury of being cognizant about anything. It's milled Rest in Peace and Cathar Commando. I'm gonna sandbag the Wasteland. Doesn't do anything here. If they draw Saga, I can waste it next turn. I hope they don't draw a land, because then they can just equip Batterskull to Thalia, and I'm in trouble. Shit. Oh, this Batterskull. So good. I feel like we're playing Magic in 2016, and I kind of love it. Alright, I'm not gonna block it yet. They gain the 6 life regardless. Removal spell, Brazen Borrower, all these things. Okay, Brazen Borrower. That plays. Wasteland, hit your Rishadan Port, and attack with Thought Thief. Keep those beats coming. Vial ticked it up? Nope, stays at 3. I'm gonna petty theft the Thalia right now. If they can flicker Thalia, it fizzles my petty theft, which is pretty annoying. But even more important, Flicker Wisp can flicker Batterskull, so that's a problem regardless. Second Wasteland was good here. They don't have the 5th land to re-equip right away. I could have left back Thought Thief and tried to get really daring and like block, bounce Batterskull. I might regret not doing that. We'll see. Milled a Swords to Plowshares. Needed that one to go. Flicker Wisp can completely empty my board right now out of Aether Vial, but I think it's still better to flicker Batterskull. I'm actually going to play Wasteland because if they draw Urza Saga, the trigger has to resolve for it to learn how to tap for mana, and that can actually save me a turn off Batterskull. That's something I didn't consider last turn, and I should have, or last round, because I had the I'll just hold back Wasteland play available. Okay, they're just going to combat. In for 2, still not blocking. I don't know how to block. It doesn't happen. If I try to block, then I have to do math, and I'm bad at that. Our Commando. Okay. Oh, they have more than one of those in their deck. I think that's unusual. Well, here comes the Brazen Bee. Uncounterable. Don't even try. Opponent. Got Plow. Alright, sure. Fair enough. Ponder. Yes, okay. That's a card I'm happy to see. I will tap my Cavern of Souls. 2 Night Bonders. Are those good? I think I'll take one of them and draw the Ponder next turn. Just anything that adds to my board is okay in my eyes. I will attack this turn. It does trade with the creature if they want to block and pushes for damage if they don't. Deal. We milled a Flicker Wisp and a Solitude. Get those out of here. Those are both good ones. Alright, if you have to draw a land, please be Urza Saga. Please don't draw a land, though. A really tricky position when you want your opponent to not draw any lands and also not draw any spells. Rest in peace. Okay, that makes my Thought Thief small, but whatever. That does slow down the clock pretty considerably, actually. It's just the whole Lord effect is not in play anymore. They can Yori in next turn. They finally realize they should be ticking up the vial. Disappointing. Let's bond the Knight. Drawing Ponder. Cast that one. Thought Seize. I am not going to be able to get that in before the Yorion comes down. I think I have to shuffle this. Another Night Bonder. All right. This Knight is so bonded. It's still mill 2. Flagstones and Plains. Yeah, this Yorion is going to come down right now and end the game. It gets to flicker the Batterskull. And it's also just a 4/5 creature. Energy Flux would have been good there, because then they wouldn't have had the mana to wish for Yorion. Maybe they'll forget they have Yorion. That would be great. Nope, remembered. Straight into the hand. Yeah, without the Rest in Peace, they'd be at 2 instead of 4 right now. That may or may not matter. Oh, they didn't Yorion main phase, which means Batterskull will not be available for combat this turn. That's exciting. Alright, deck. Help me punish this. Brainstorm? Okay. We're doing stuff here. The Wasteland doesn't matter anymore, so I'm going to use that to cast Brainstorm. Give me a card. Give me a good one. No, my Night Bonders are not cutting enough. Yeah. Important. The Rest in Peace. So if they were at 2, they'd be dead right now. But instead they're at 4. Oh no, this is a 1 power creature. No, okay. They went either way. Alright. GG's. I'm not getting through those 2 lands on top of my deck. Kind of a rough run with Rogues here. We did play against Delver 3 times, which, as I pointed out, if you wanted to build a reasonable looking deck that also just had the expressed purpose of losing to Delver, it would probably look like this. You just need a lot more removal in the deck if you want to beat Delver, and that cuts down on the Rogue stuff. I think a dedicated blue-black fairy deck might actually line up in a way that's interesting with the format, but a deck that is incidentally milling your opponent as part of your plan, which feeds most plans in Legacy, is rough. Just Dragon's Rage Channel, Murktide Regent, Uro, Reanimator is popular. Storm uses its graveyard. Loam decks use their graveyard. 8-cast kind of uses its graveyard. It has Emery, but it's mostly fine against 8-cast. But that's a legacy metagame. The graveyard is a big resource right now, and leaning in to milling your opponent incidentally kind of sucks. They can't all be winners, but nobody can say we didn't try. One thing you can do is main deck the Voidwalkers, get a 4th one in here, and just get away from the mill strat. Like, if you get rid of Thieves Guild Enforcer and Soaring Thought Thief, and you have 4 Notion Thief, 4 Opposition Agent, 4 Nightbonder to make it happen. There's also a card that I played against recently called Slither Wisp. This thing is a 3/2 flash Elemental Nightmare, not a rogue, which is why I didn't put it in this deck. Whenever you cast another spell that has flash, you draw a card and each opponent loses 1 life. That's a pretty serious engine. There's also Una's Blackguard. This thing is an engine. Each other rogue enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever a creature you control with a +1 counter on it deals damage to a player, that player discards a card. This one doesn't have flash, which is why it wasn't in this build, but I can see a more tap-out build with Voidwalker, Una's Blackguard. The Bitter Blossoms would be main for that one. And move, like, I guess that's no longer a Nightbonder deck. Like, if you move away from the flash stuff and into just some, like, discard and disruption strategy that happens to be rogues, I think the deck gets a lot better. Lines up against the format a lot better. I'm not going to rebuild this deck again right here, but I gave you some ideas. Una's Blackguard's right there. Bitter Blossom's right here. Slither Wisp is there if you want to take that direction. Put your Voidwalkers main. If the fundamental problem of this deck is that it's incidentally feeding graveyards, why don't we have a good card that incidentally hates graveyards instead? Let's just pivot onto that direction. That's my official recommendation. You probably want a Watery Grave and better fetch lands too. Like, Prismatic Vista really messed up my plan multiple times, where I had a 1-lander with like Ponder and Thieves Guild Enforcer, where, you know, sort of pick your poison. Do you want to maybe miss a land drop and never play again, but you're on board? Or do you want to Ponder and still maybe miss your land drop and never cast your threat? Especially with Thoughthy Voidwalker in the deck, you can't just have all these basic islands laying around, which also changes the back to basics in the sideboard. That's like another 30 minutes of me sitting here moving cards around, which I'm not going to do today, but hopefully I've gotten your creative juices flowing. Dragon Day Dragon, thank you for the challenge to make rogues happen in Legacy. It didn't work this time, but failure is just learning one thing that doesn't work, and we're one step closer to a functioning rogues deck. Good luck out there, Wizards. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out Patreon, check out merch, all that stuff's there, and I'll see you next time.